Hi friends, Nathan here, and if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you've probably noticed that I have a borderline unhealthy obsession with harmonics. In fact, you'd probably have to go digging through my channel pretty hard to find an arrangement that doesn't use any harmonics. But there's a good reason for this. First of all, you can't help but love the gentle tone that they produce. That bell-like sound can be used to create so many different moods in your arrangements, from haunting to nostalgic, cheerful, and hopeful. And possibly even more important than that, from a practical standpoint, harmonics can be used to get you out of sticky situations in your arrangements where you might need to play a certain note that's out of reach of your current left hand position. So today I'm going to show you two very different ways that you can use harmonics to make your arrangements both more beautiful and more playable. This video isn't about how to play harmonics, but rather how to use them in creative ways in your arrangements. But if you have really limited knowledge about how harmonics work, or you need a refresher, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence as your teacher if I didn't go over the basics before jumping into how you can use them in your arrangements. So I'm gonna slap a timer on the screen and see if I can give you a 2-minute crash course in harmonics. Now, if you're already a harmonic wizard, you can skip ahead to this timestamp, but while you're down there, go ahead and hit that like button so you can let me know that I'm not the only person obsessed with harmonics. What are harmonics? So when you play a note normally on the guitar, you're actually also hearing a series of subtle overtones above that note. When you touch a string directly above certain frets, you can isolate certain overtones, creating a pure harmonic. Now, these are called natural harmonics and occur most clearly on the 5th, 7th, and 12th frets. To produce a nice clear harmonic, place your finger on the string directly above the fret, touching the string but not applying any pressure or fretting it. The closer you pluck the string to the bridge, the punchier the harmonic will be. As soon as you pluck the string, release your finger to let the string vibrate freely. Because they only occur on a few frets, there's only a handful of notes that you can play as natural harmonics. The 5th fret harmonics produce a note that is 2 octaves above the corresponding open string. E, A, D, G, B, E. The 7th fret gives you the notes B, E, A, D, F sharp, B, all of which are an octave above the notes found naturally by fretting those strings at the 7th fret. The 12th fret gives you the notes E, A, D, G, B, E, all 1 octave above the corresponding open strings. To play any note as a harmonic, you can create artificial harmonics using your right hand to touch the string exactly 12 frets above wherever you're fretting. For example, if I'm fretting the 1st fret of the G string, my right hand index finger will touch the string above the 13th fret. Then you pluck the string with your right hand ring or A finger. This produces a harmonic that is 1 octave above the fretted note, and you can move these around anywhere on the fretboard. One of my favorite ways to incorporate harmonics in my arrangements is to use them as a variation on the melody. This is perfect for creating unique intros or outros for your arrangements. Playing the same melody the exact same way over and over is going to get stale, and it doesn't give any emotional depth to your arrangements. Now, playing that same melody in harmonics at some point is a great way to add variety because it gives you the chance to present that same familiar melody in a completely different mood and atmosphere. Using harmonics for an intro, for example, gives you a very soft, haunting foundation to build from, while playing your melody in harmonics for an outro can really bump up the nostalgia factor, almost like that familiar melody has been reduced to a soft echo. I'm gonna play a little theme for you right now without any harmonics, but make sure you pay attention to the melody because that's what I'm gonna be changing up in the following examples. So you really know what you're listening for. Here's the melody isolated without any accompaniment. Now I'm gonna play that exact same theme once normally like you heard before, and then repeated immediately with the melody played in harmonics. And I want you to pay attention to how drastically I can alter the sound of the theme without changing any notes in the accompaniment just by introducing harmonics. And by the way, if you want to follow along and play these examples for yourself, tabs and sheet music are available for free on my website, linked below. That's what I love about harmonics. They add emotional layers to your arrangements with that soft, beautiful sound and give you an easy opportunity to create variations on your melodies without having to change a single note. If you're new to harmonics and to arranging and you're struggling to play the melody in harmonics while playing all the notes of the accompaniment, don't be afraid to keep it simple. You can just add single bass notes to your melody, and those harmonics are still going to carry that same ethereal atmosphere with them, even with simple accompaniments. Now, I always tell my students that one of your main priorities when arranging is that it needs to sound and feel like it was meant for the guitar. If what you're arranging is impossibly difficult to play on the guitar, it's not gonna sound or feel like it was meant for the guitar. Especially since we're often arranging things that are originally for multiple instruments, we need all the help that we can get to make it playable on our one guitar. That's where the second and very different use for harmonics comes into play. Unlike fretted notes, after playing a natural harmonic, your left-hand finger doesn't have to stay there for that note to keep ringing. So replacing fretted notes periodically with their harmonic counterparts in your melodies, accompaniments, or bass lines frees up your fingers to play other notes, often in easier positions. Here's that same theme played an octave up, and you'll notice that I've replaced some of the melody and accompaniment notes with harmonics, making it easier to play higher up the neck and helping some of those notes sustain for longer. Because we only have specific notes that can be played as natural harmonics, this use for harmonics takes a little bit more creativity and practice. So you're going to want to commit to memory those specific notes that I talked about in our crash course that can be played as natural harmonics on the 5th, 7th, and 12th frets. That way, when you're working on an arrangement, out of the notes you need to play, you can identify which notes can also be played as harmonics, and then you can experiment with different fingerings, replacing some of those notes with harmonics to see if it makes it easier to play. I'll play that same section without any harmonics, fretting the notes instead, and you'll notice how it's just physically harder to play, and some of those notes don't ring out as nicely. I much prefer both the sound and feel of that previous version with the harmonics sprinkled in, so let's isolate a measure here so I can show you the thought process that helped me arrive at that previous version. Looking at the first measure of the theme, I knew these were the notes I wanted to play. The first thing I noticed when playing this was that I didn't like how I had to lift my third finger from the A at the 7th fret of the D string to play the D at the 7th fret of the G string. I wanted both of those notes to ring out together to create a more cohesive sound in the accompaniment. So because I memorized my natural harmonics, I knew this same A could be played as a harmonic at the 12th fret of the A string, and this D could be played at the 12th fret of the D string. Playing these both as harmonics freed up my left hand while allowing them both to ring out. Because I'm playing these notes at the 12th fret now, I needed to change where I played the corresponding melody. Instead of playing it here at the 5th and 7th frets, I needed to play it over here on the B string from the 10th to the 7th. This works out better for my personal preference anyway, because these harmonics will keep ringing out after I lift my fingers. I can slide between those two melody notes, which to me is more lyrical, and I prefer that sound to this. Now, why I chose to play this B melody note at the 7th fret of the high E string as a harmonic at the 12th fret of the B string instead is both a matter of preference and playability. I felt like this harmonic sustained more clearly for longer, and it meant that I didn't have to hold that finger down on that note for the majority of the measure. As you can tell, it takes a little bit of fretboard knowledge to be able to apply this concept. With arranging in general, you need to be able to know where you can find different notes anywhere across the fretboard. Now, a great place to get started with that is to take my free training, Fretboard Freedom. It'll teach you how to find and play chords anywhere on the fretboard, which in turn will help you memorize the notes of the fretboard. It even comes with a downloadable fretboard chart, which serves as a visual reference as you're memorizing. So I've included a link to the training down below. Again, it's totally free and is a must-have for anybody who wants to make their own guitar arrangements. Before we wrap up, let me piece together all those variations of that theme, showing you how these two applications for harmonics can be used together to really change up an otherwise repetitive melody. I hope this inspires and helps you to get more creative with harmonics in your playing. Let me know in the comments below what songs you've played or arranged that incorporate harmonics. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, thus furthering my quest to make sure that everybody else is as obsessed with harmonics as I am. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on so you never miss future videos. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one.